Link Show and channel here over at SubScribestar. So Captain Wakanda Part 3 is ready to bomb, and the preview numbers say it's up there with the Eternals or Marvels or Madam Web and probably Black Widow as well. Marvel Disney's have a lot of bombs. So the vibe shift is real, and there's like the reality that there is a vibe shift that is happening, but the left thinks it is something that it's not. They think Elon Musk, with his little throwing his heart out to the crowd, Roman style, and Trump are something they're not, and that's just bizarro Trump level or Elon Musk derangement syndrome. Like that's bizarre. But there is a shift. People are really tired of woke and the failures of woke. And a lot of it has to do, thanks to Biden, because he was such a bad president that people are looking for a change. So I didn't expect a change to be this fast right off of the bat. And Hollywood is going to reflect that. So there's a new Marvel movie. My buddy calls them, well, we bundles of sticks in spandex. We don't have free speech on YouTube. It'd be sweet if Twitter is on its way to getting a video tab. So I assume that means they're going to set up a YouTube clone, and when that happens, that would be freaking awesome. So these kind of movies are on the way out, and if they don't have to be, if they didn't want to be, all they have to do is fire these stupid directors, and they'd be printing money. I mean, Disney owns the best name recognition IPs on earth, and there's no excuse to not be. I'd be just making all these movies like Pirates of the Caribbean. I would have kept all those things going as well. But no. We're not going to do a female reboot. That's probably the dumbest idea for a long time. Unless it's a comedy, then it'd work. But like Hollywood just can't do things that it used to do because the people who are behind the scenes are insane Bolsheviks. So they don't care about money. And it seems like a movie like this with what is going to be perceived as a race swap is coming at the wrong time. And the funny thing is, if Hollywood wanted to surf this wave, the vibe shift, they totally could. It's the easiest, most obvious path to take, but they simply are not concerned with making money or going down this path. So what you do, contingent on a president, like newspapers print up headlines for if one wins and the other wins. I don't know if they still make newspapers anymore, but what Hollywood should have done was go okay, on the if Trump wins, how do we go forward with the Marvel universe, with the Disney universe in 2025 on forward if he wins? And the people looking around the table at you when you bring that up, they look at you like you're crazy. I'm like, America's not gonna elect literally Hitler 2.0. And you go, well, but just if he wins, how do we change we're gonna double down and rage against the machine even more. And you look at them like, yeah, but that hasn't really made us any money. We've been bombing these movies. So how do we market to that? And they, like, if you weren't the boss, they would throw you out the window or you'd be fired because that does not concern them. To even say that is blasphemy because you're going against their religion, which is this globalism. And the other thing with the Marvel universe, in case anyone forgot, is, didn't it end? Was it in 2018 when that last Civil War movie? You realize how fast the Marvel Universe, the time is slipping away when that was a monster hit. That was like a $4 billion movie or something. That was in 2018, and like they deleted half the characters, but they just kept on making movies. One would have assumed if you wanted to keep the universe going, you wouldn't have deleted half the characters. That's pretty weird. And including Black Widow, where they made a movie later in time, but she was actually departed from this mortal coil. So it's like, how do you get invested in the movie? I don't know. Anyway, they need to make some money. So out comes Red Hulk, which should be a lot of fun. But then Black Captain America, diversity hire with wings that nobody cares about, especially the Chinese. If you look at their posters for Black Panther, for this movie, and then for Star Wars, where they put Finn, he's on the poster because he's one of the four main characters in the American poster, and the Chinese poster, I was like, oh, he's way in the back in the shadows. The problem is we have had years of violent BLM domestic terrorist riots and deletions and arsons, and people are pretty much done with affirmative action, higher race swapping type of movies. Chris Evans was the actor in this movie, and they should have continued to use him. He's pretty well useless in any other role. You could have had a fun, solid movie with him and the Red Hulk, but instead they're going to spend an astronomical amount of money on this, to the point where it looks like they're almost laundering money or something. It doesn't make sense when they're spending like $250 million on this plus $100 million in ads, and you go, you'd be lucky if the movie breaks even, and that seems like that's the only thing they're looking for these days. Even the predictions are that this movie is going to bomb like the other ones. I just can't see that happening. Even if Disney has to go crazy with finding ways to cross-promote the movie and having their actors come out to shill it, to do as much as they can, because if it bombed, it would be like too many bombs for Disney with Ant-Man 3, The Eternals, Madam Web, The Marvels. So I guess kind of looking at the odds, it does look like they're predicting a bomb, but that would be a serious moment for Disney, because it would look like the Marvel universe would have to take a break and a regrouping like DC or something. And the other big point is Disney Star Wars with the Daisy Ridley movie. And I hope all these movies bomb, because Disney is biblically evil. And if that movie bombs, then they're going to have to take a break from Star Wars too. It's like, these are two major IPs that you should be printing money from, but they're not. They're just not concerned with it. Daisy Ridley movie, I would have her pregnant with kids and taking care of the kids and barefoot and making sandwiches type of stuff, and have some man come over, have her husband be, I don't know, like the hero. And you can have her in a little bit of bit parts when she's not taking care of the kids. All they have to do to make these movies make money is take a break from diversity, equity, inclusion, all that, the WEF, New World Order type of stuff. They have a long history of woke movies losing money, as well as DC. It really doesn't seem to concern them. The audience, it's not just me, the audience is clearly telling you they don't want non-white characters or women in action roles. That has to be very carefully handled. And mainstream Hollywood just can't handle anything carefully, because they're all out of their freaking minds. So what you're saying is you're a Nazi Hugo Boss, Roman saluting like Elon Musk. Yes, that's exactly what me and the audience are saying. That's a fair and reasonable conclusion. I was thinking it would be hysterical if they made a movie, put Elon Musk in it as like a tech guy who's trying to start a fascist takeover, and you could have, AI and robots and the brain chips, and have it like feed into left-wing conspiracy theories, and have the symbolism would be like the red and black and white, the symbol of the World War II flag. Like just give in to all these tinfoil hat left-wingers. And the left wing has their own like Q type of blue anon who are equally as crazy as the right-wing types, who are, don't get me wrong, like both sides for that inauguration were looking for secret hand signals and symbology, which, if I was a celebrity, I think I'd just be screwing with people and just making symbols up. You don't actually need secret hand signals. These people go to Epstein's Island to abuse kids when they're not insider trading, a la Nancy Pelosi style. It's not a secret anymore, because they can literally go to those islands and offer these sacrifices to Moloch. And guess who got busted for that? Two people, three people. Epstein, his partner, who Epstein deleted himself in a cell, or at least the story is. Obviously, he was deleted by someone more important than him. And his partner, Brunel, was the same thing happened to him in a French prison. And Maxwell is arrested. It's like, yeah, but what about the clients? Oh, yeah, they're fine. My point is, they do this stuff openly. I mean, you got Maria Abramovic painted in blood on the walls and all this kind of nonsense spirit cooking. It's like but then they do actually go to islands and abuse kids. It's like they don't have to hide this stuff, because they're just not held accountable. Anyway, it'd be fun to make like an Eyes Wide Shut type of movie. This would just be the perfect time for it. But Stanley Kubrick is not around, unfortunately. What a master class director he was. Disney could make another Black Captain America, about the Red Skull, who would be a Trump stand-in, and Captain Wakanda will organize a diverse group of Antifa to go and try to punch Nazis with their soylent limp wrists. It will be a blonde men in pickup trucks running down Ethiopian refugees while drinking beer and waving the stars in bars, and just every nonsense cliche you can think of. And a sassy, strong, single, proud black mother will stop them with a stunning and brave one-liner like, "Not on my watch, Brad." And the three people in the theater will clap like the low IQ seals they are. It's explosions and shiny images on the screen. So I'll be watching the results of this movie closely because it'll be an indicator of the vibe of the country now that the Fuhrer is in office, 2.0, the guy who left office voluntarily. Well, the audience, that's what fascism is, getting elected. Will the audience relax a little bit and be able to, well, yes, technically, but then stepping down voluntarily is not so much. Are they going to relax and be able to watch the soy slop propaganda, or are they going to double down and keep rejecting Hollywood? And the numbers for this are actually predicting the latter, and the numbers are usually on point. Trump's got Vince Vaughn and Mel Gibson, and like there's 3 other right-wing actors in Hollywood, and that's pretty much all that exists. And they're in some kind of advisory board to Hollywood, and they trigger. Mel Gibson seems to trigger the left wing. It's absolutely crazy what he does. But what are they expected to do? They could make some state-sponsored movie, which would be hysterical, to make a tongue-in-cheek propaganda where a Trump character hands off the presidency to his barren son, barren Trump stand-in, and converts the nation to a monarchy, and obese lesbians are most affected. It would be endless cat ladies making TikTok videos in their cars, probably in their garages with the engines running, and then Barron could ban TikTok again and make women speaking illegal without their husband's permission. You can have a lot of fun with movies going forward from this point. There are a lot of great movies that could be made. Set a movie in the Middle East. Find your balls to do that one, Hollywood, about people finding new ways to delete ISIS over there and fighting to actually free women. It's the blank spots on the map. It's the movies that Hollywood refuses to make. The one time they set the movie in the Middle East, it was Black Adams with The Rock. But the bad guys were blonde-haired, English-accented, United Nations type of characters, and some kind of nonsense, a cliche about the little brown kid and the brown woman, and then even her husband, who is a brown man, you'd think would be somewhere on the oppression hierarchy. He was, or her brother or something, was just sitting like on the chair, and the plucky woman had to do it all. Like, God, that was stupid. You could send in that script, and they would take it, they'd do a mountain of cocaine and say, yeah, this is great, but instead of Islam, make it Catholic and set it in Montana and have a blonde nationalist Hugo Boss Klan handsmaiden woman and a diverse group of Californians ranging from dark black to less black will come and save them. So no, nothing in the next 4 years is going to be watchable unless we literally make it ourselves, which is something some of you should start thinking about. There's a market out there for entertainment, like how Comicsgate got off the ground because the mainstream stuff with, who was that? Not Dan Snyder. Dan, I forget the guy that he's ginormous. He's like 400 pounds. Dan, I forget his name. He's coming out with some new thing, or Mark Waid, these insane idiots. But the comics were so bad that the market created in the vacuum of lack of sales. And that's how Comicsgate got started. People go, oh, we can just sell our own comics and market it on using YouTube. And now even a little bit of Rumble and Odyssey. So if you want to make a movie now, like Murdoch style or Satire or something, you could do it. And I was thinking about making a puppet movie shot on a cell phone, because that's what I have access to, and actually making it politically incorrect. So anyway, the mainstream is going to continue to be this kind of stuff, sodomy and virtue signaling AIDS. But or maybe, I would love to see movies about refugees in 2025 to 2028 going forward. Just bizarro nonsense. I like the Time magazine cover where Trump is looking down at some little crying kid. It's like they cropped out the mom. It's like, oh no, you have to stay in your home country. Why are you sad about that? Mexico is a safe country. Like, you can stay in Mexico and make it great again. Like, has that idea never crossed anyone's mind? You can't keep leaving countries. You have to stay and improve them. Otherwise, nothing's going to change. Right? I mean, that should be freaking obvious, and no one ever seems to come across that. But you're going to see those kind of movies about just, I don't know, bizarro straw man. Like what was that movie, Three Kings, back in the '90s, and it's these three pompous douchebag actors uh, talking about George Bush or something stupid. And then I will say they did drop an N-bomb in that. I remember that was kind of funny, but they portrayed the guy as, I think, a white guy with a southern accent. He was so stupid because white men are stupid in commercials. My favorite mutual account over on Twitter. But at least he dropped an N-bomb. That was kind of cool. So refreshing. You don't see that. You don't see that anymore. We're gonna bring that back in 2025. No, we're not gonna bring that back. But you're just not gonna bring back a lot of stuff in movies. I don't know. It's not really been in movies unless it's a straw man from some leftist douchebag fart sniffing in a Prius. The San Francisco what was it? The Hubris Storm. South Park did a movie of that. Like 20 or a show on that 20 years ago about the Prius. What the hell was that thing about? I don't remember. You're not going to, like, Hollywood is just going to continue down this path of this kind of stuff, and maybe they'll go out with one last gasp of virtue signaling nonsense about refugee movies and America and Mossad, I mean CIA, fomenting foreign wars and just nonsense that the left wingers should be eating up. And then it turns out, oh, hey, your black gay trans protagonist failed to sell any tickets. Weird. This is the movie you guys said you wanted, but nobody's watching it. What happened? Oh, we were busy washing our hair or something. So this is just going to be the continuation. But if you think a movie is worth me watching, you want me to look at it or something, I'm going to be honest, you're most likely wrong. I don't think anything is coming on the horizon. I used to say, Cash App or SubScribestar the money, and I'll go see it, but I don't even want that anymore. If you just let me know what the movie is, and I'll just go sail the high seas for it, because I don't want to pay the theaters. I don't want to pay these companies. It's just not worth it. And honestly, there's nothing that's going to be out in the next few years, unless it's so bad it's good, which would be a nice path for Hollywood to take. But they're not going to take it. Like any path towards profitability, making something that the audience wants, a comedy that's not just preachy, obese, trans, lesbian virtue signaling, yeah, they're going to go the opposite direction from that. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys all next episode.